The viral horror phenomenon known as the Backrooms is currently being processed into the foundation of a highly calculated multi-company financial syndicate. For the general public, the story is about opportunity. A24 is granting 20-year-old YouTuber Kane Parsons a major theatrical debut, elevating a digital native creator into the traditional Hollywood system. Behind the scenes, the motivation is strictly institutional. A24 recently accepted a $3.5 billion valuation from private equity investors who demand a consistent pipeline of high-margin, scalable franchises. To meet these targets, the studio has rejected the standard $200 million blockbuster model. Relying on a single, massive production to generate a return creates a level of capital exposure that A24's private equity backers are unwilling to accept. Instead, the studio's survival depends on identifying and harvesting massive, pre-packaged digital audiences while keeping the initial cost of acquisition as low as possible. This specific IP began on a 4chan message board in 2019. It was an ownerless image of an empty office that spawned a collective myth, a digital folk story built by thousands of anonymous contributors. Legally, the foundational elements, the yellow hallways and the concept of no clipping out of reality, reside in the public domain. No single entity owns the right to the base concept of the Backrooms. This creates a direct conflict with the studio system. A multi-billion-dollar enterprise cannot build a proprietary franchise on a concept that legally belongs to everyone on the internet simultaneously. A24 bypassed this by focusing on the specific corporate mythology Kane Parsons built for his YouTube series. By copywriting the Async Research Institute, the studio effectively built a proprietary walled garden around a public myth. This legal anchor allowed A24 to secure infrastructure from major genre specialists. James Wan's Atomic Monster and Sean Levy's 21 Laps joined the production, bringing the same development muscle used for massive studio franchises to this low-budget project. This chart tracks the project's $15 million gross production cost. Filming in Vancouver recovered $35,350 of labor costs through tax credits. Finally, Parsons acted as the entire visual effects department, removing millions in vendor overhead. These maneuvers transformed a studio-scale project into a low-risk indie asset. The break-even point is so low that the film is financially viable before the first marketing dollar is even spent. Most Hollywood films require $20 million or more in advertising just to reach their target audience. They are essentially buying awareness from scratch. A24 is subsidizing that entire cost. They are leveraging 200 million pre-existing views on Parsons' channel, acting as a free, built-in promotional engine that targets the exact demographic most likely to buy a ticket. The final layer of protection is the Pay-One output deal with Warner Bros. Discovery. This agreement ensures every A24 film has a guaranteed streaming home on Max after its theatrical run. Under this deal, Max pays a licensing fee calculated as a multiple of the film's box office performance. This creates a revenue floor that triggers even if the film underperforms in theaters. When you combine the tax-subsidized budget, the zero-cost viral marketing, and the guaranteed Max licensing floor, the production syndicate has effectively secured a return on capital regardless of the final ticket sales. By strategically stacking these variables, A24 has successfully navigated around the extreme volatility that typically sinks independent distributors, turning a theatrical release into a predictable corporate revenue stream. Box office receipts are only one part of the strategy. A24 is using the film as a 90-minute loss leader to launch a proprietary liminal lifestyle brand. The studio is planning high-margin ancillary goods built around the Async brand. This includes corporate-themed streetwear, 1980s-style laboratory gear, and analog VHS collectibles that appeal to aesthetic-focused consumers. Producers at Blumhouse and Atomic Monster are already scaling this into the gaming sector. The Backrooms environment is natively suited for high-margin video game licensing deals, which can often out-earn the film itself. A24 has moved beyond simple film distribution. They have built a brand monetization engine designed to sell a specific, proprietary aesthetic to a generation of digital native consumers. The industry has reached a new stage. Studios are no longer just buying stories. They are acquiring the creator's audience and their technical efficiency to bolster their own institutional valuations. This flowchart tracks the new capital efficiency of Hollywood. organic internet engagement is captured, de-risked through financial engineering, and converted into market cap growth for the parent companies. The anonymous corners of the internet have become a pre-validated source of intellectual property, where the audience is built long before the first production meeting. Subscribe to the channel to see which industry maneuver we break down next, and let us know what we should investigate in the comments.